So hey guys, today we're taking a look at the 2025 Life Point event, and I think the best deck that you can probably play for this event, I have a feeling it might be Gimmick Puppet. Just straight up, Gimmick Puppet, maybe? Gimmick Puppet has what's called a billion one-card FTKs in this event. So normally, for example, if we were to try to resolve Rogue Doll here, or Rouge Doll, not Rogue Doll. I'm getting hit by some brain rot here. Okay, so Rouge Doll here is going to not be a full-on FTK by itself. It would require one more Gimmick Puppet card in your hand, but because your life points are 2025, if we were to just resolve Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings once, that is the game. And it is GG. If we were to normal summon Little Soldiers, that's normally not an FTK either, I believe. The only true one card I think is specifically if you activate Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. But yeah, since your life points are 2025, a lot of these cards that weren't FTKs now are genuine FTKs, so a lot of one card FTKs. So in this Vanquish Soul list, for example, instead of like Gimmick Puppet, I suppose, if we were to normal summon Razan, we would need one more Fire Monster in order to set up FTK. So the FTK line is essentially we're going to Razan add Xiaolong, special summon Xiaolong. Xiaolong is going to add us a copy of Snow Devil. And we're going to next turn search a Dark Monster. So we're going to search Heavy Borger, I guess. And then Heavy Borger is going to need an Earth Monster. So we're going to search Borger plus Earth Monsters, so maybe like a Caesar Valius. And then we simply resolve Snow Devil, and this burns for 1,800, and then we burn for 1,500 with V Borger for around 3,000 something-ish, 3,000 something-ish life points worth of burn. But you have 2025 life points, so it's game over. And that's a 2-card combo. And you can interrupt this and whatnot, but, you know, Gimmick Puppet, it's a legit one card. So the only issue, I guess, is if your opponent is maybe playing a deck where it's just a bunch of burn spells, and they have some, like, anti-burn hand traps, or whatever, like Eco, Hanawata, Leonidas, just whatever is available, I guess. So that's kind of how that works. But if we want to actually play the event a little bit more, I have some going first decks that should work as well. Gimmick Puppet is just really exceptional at the FTK and having like fairly high consistency and still being somewhat of an actual deck, even if we can't burn our opponents for a game on the first turn. You still have some plays, but not really good plays against like an anti-burn cards like Eco and whatnot. You're kind of going to be screwed here. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And the only interruption you have is essentially a Snatch Steal, which is not useful against more or less all spell trap deck with just burn cards. So yeah, that'll kind of suck. But if we're going for specifically decks that will go first and just be fine against most decks in general, we have 2 options that I could really figure out on my own here. So we have DD. DD has a few anti-burn cards here and there. So DDD, Rebel King Leonidas here. This is a DD card, so might as well play this in DD in this event, I guess. And then we have Divine Zero King Rage. So the effect of Rage says, if you would take effect damage, you take no damage. And this is hard once per turn. But, you know, every little bit counts, I guess. It helps. And then, aside from this, we have... Where is it? Should be around here somewhere. So, oh, space. We have DDD Oracle King Dark. So this has the effect of any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead. So you can never really be burned to death with Oracle King Dark. So you should just be able to just gain life points if you summon Oracle King Dark, and you can set up a legit end board alongside this in case your opponent's playing like somewhat of a real deck. So you have this option. If we want to play yet another option that sets up a real end board, we have Blackwing. So Blackwing has a card that also stops burn. We have specifically the Blackwing Dragon. And we also do have some burn cards ourselves, so that becomes kind of obnoxious to deal with. So we have Nathung, and we have Blackwinged Assault Dragon. So honestly, I think you could set up an FTK with Blackwing. It wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. But this will burn our opponent if they try to activate a monster effect, and we can summon 3 of these guys, and that means instant lethal. And I guess technically Branded can also set up this, but what Branded cannot do is they don't have a Blackwing Dragon. So Blackwing Dragon says, if you would take damage from a card effect, place 1 Black Feather counter on this card instead. This card loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter on it. Well, this effect doesn't really matter. But if you would take damage from a card effect, you would just infinitely keep putting these counters onto the Blackwing Dragon. And you just don't take burn damage, so that's about it, right? And of course, if you're end board, you can set up like Dispatter, Hot Red Abyss Dragon, Blackwing Full Armor Master, Shrine in the Graveyard, and whatnot. So you have a pretty solid option here. Or you could go with like a straight up burn deck, I guess. But yeah, if we want to play like some more legit Yu-Gi-Oh! There's also, I guess, Vanquish Soul, which is not as consistent as some of the other options mentioned here, but I mean, if it's playable, it's playable, I guess. Well, now that I think about it, if we're going first, there's also technically the option of Altergeist, which is somewhat like a real deck. If you're not getting like hand trapped to Oblivion, you can actually finally somewhat play Geist if you open playable. Because you can set up with Hextia, you can negate spells and traps, so you can just raw negate the burn spells or whatever. And then we should be just okay, I think, right? And if our opponent's playing a real deck, we also have like Protocol, Adminia to kind of get our opponent, I guess. You know, just play the actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. One cool idea that I saw someone else playing, so we're going to be yoinking their idea, I suppose, is, well, they're playing Kashtira, and I don't think this is going to be that consistent, but there is this card, I don't remember the exact name right now. Let's see. So it's this, right? Soul Absorption, I think. Yeah, no. Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. No, that's not right. Should be absorb something, right? No. Is it not? Does it have something to do with soul at least? Well, either way, it's the continuous spell that makes it so that whenever a card is banished, you gain 500 life points, and they were just playing that and playing pretty much regular Kashtira. So I guess the idea here is that if you raise your life points above a certain threshold, you won't be able to be burned to death, I guess. If I search Banish, will that help here? Not really. Banish, spell, continuous spell. That should narrow it down a lot. What if we throw in the word LP? Soul Absorption. Why couldn't I find this earlier? Maybe I'm blind. Okay, so if a card is banished, gain 500 life points for each. So we just activate this. If we resolve Rise Heart, this will banish 1 card and then banish 3 more cards. And this will by itself give you 2,000 life points. And then we have Kashtira, a Rise Heart, and whatnot. So I guess In the standby phase, we could summon like Tier Cash and mill 3, banish 3. And that's another 1,500, and we're almost back to 8,000, you know? It wouldn't take too long to get to 8,000 like this, but yeah, this works, I suppose, right? So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.